Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to ACS Sneakers. My name is Aiden. On today's video, we are doing something a little bit different, as you can probably tell from the title of this video. But before we get into that, I just want to say a huge thank you to my returning viewers. Thank you as always for supporting me and the channel. To any new viewers, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, hitting that bell notification. We do release brand new sneaker content each and every week. So if that is something of interest, please make sure you do go ahead and smash that subscribe button. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the intro. So before we do go ahead and get into the video itself, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to my friends over at Looked Out Laces. Now, they were hosting a giveaway over on Instagram to win a free pair of tearaway Air Force Ones, which fortunately, your boy has managed to win. And this is actually my first major win, considering I never even won a game of Pass the Parcel as a kid. So I was absolutely gassed to get these in the mail. They came one day after he reached out and told me that I'd won, so I was really excited to get these in hand. And I couldn't even wait to show you guys on camera before I started to actually take them apart. So if you guys want to see the video and a full review of this shoe, drop me a comment in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to bring you the review of this shoe. And again, a major thank you to Looked Out Laces. I will leave his link in the description area below to his Instagram page. So please make sure you go over and show some love, drop him a follow. And once again, a huge thank you. So let's go ahead and get into the rest of the video. So like any good story, we're going to start as of now and then work our way back and give you a little bit of context throughout. So I've started collecting my own personal collection probably only for the last 12 months or so. Now that probably comes as a surprise to a lot of people that are watching this video. I've always had a keen interest for sneakers, trainers, whatever you choose to call them. It's been something that I've always been passionate about, but to be honest, it's not always something that I can really afford. I've been through lots of different stages in my life already, and I'm only 24 years old, which once again I'll get through in the actual video itself. But sneakers are a very expensive commodity. Now, not everybody that's going to watch this video is going to be in a financial position to have more than 5 pairs of shoes in the collection, or more than 10, more than 15. So I want this video to be going out to the guys out there that aren't in that financial position to maintain expensive high-end collections. Don't feel bad about yourself, guys. I don't have a big collection. I only have about 15 pairs of shoes in my collection, and I'm more than satisfied with that. I could definitely afford to go out and buy more and keep adding and adding and adding, but I don't see that that adds value to me as a person or to my life or to my family's life. I like to keep shoes that I like to wear, so you're going to see lots and lots more reviews on the channel, but bear in mind, a lot of those shoes I'm not going to keep for one reason or another. If I can make money on it, it's going to go. If I'm not really feeling it, it's going to go. So I want people who are watching this video to see me for who I am. I'm a real person. So I wanted to kind of start from here before I get into the video, because I want you guys to know that no matter how many shoes you have, if you have 100 or, 1,000, however many shoes you have, it shouldn't really affect how you feel about yourself. And I feel that's a really important part of the sneaker industry that a lot of people do miss. A lot of people are really hard on themselves that I've seen. A lot of people use their materials to actually value themselves, so never do that. That's just my opinion. So when I was a kid, personally, I wasn't really interested in shoes, and I was more interested in football, because that was where I actually thought my life was going to go, until I piled on all the pounds in my teens. I really wanted to be a football player. So from the minute I could walk, I was playing football. So the shoes I was wearing, as long as they were comfortable and I could curl that ball into the top bins, I really didn't care what they were. So I spoke to my mum prior to doing this video. She tells me all I wore was Nikes, but to be honest, I remember wearing Reebok Classics. I had a black pair, had a white pair. The white pair I didn't wear too often. I didn't really want to mess them up. I've always kind of been a clean freak like that, and I really didn't want to mess them up. So the black pair was my go-to. And I just remember being able to curl that ball, and they were so comfortable to wear. So they was a real big inspiration for me, and a shoe that I still love to this day. As I started to get a little bit older, I started to notice that the older guys on my estate were wearing TNs, Air Max 90s, I think Air Force Ones maybe, but TNs were definitely the biggest inspiration for me. So when I actually had enough money, that was definitely the pair that I wanted to get for myself. And when I finally got them, that feeling of having that shoe after waiting that long is just incredible. I just felt like I was on top of the world, but it didn't take long for me to absolutely mash them up playing football again. We did actually look through some photographs prior to doing this video. So If you guys haven't already, please go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so you never miss a video. Let's get back into it. So as I reach my teen years, like most people, when you get to high school, you start to reevaluate what's important. Fashion starts becoming a big key thing. The clothes you wear, the shoes you wear are almost an extension of yourself in high school. So a lot of people value you based on the clothes you have. So if you don't have, many expensive or branded clothing, you might not be the most popular kid in the world. And that's just the unfortunate fact of how it is. I don't say that it's right. Of course, I feel that it's wrong, but it's just kind of how it is back then and probably how it is to this day, to be honest. So when I started to get to around 13, 14, I definitely started to look towards different brands outside the norm. So transitioning away from Reebok Classics and Air Max 90s and starting to appreciate Jordan brand and just other silhouettes within the Nike brand. I've always been Nike eccentric. Adidas have never really spoken to me until Yeezy came on board. Adidas was just not a shoe that I really wanted to wear, and all my friends wore Nike, I wore Nike, my family wore Nike, and it was just kind of the way it was, and still probably the way it is today. I still only have one pair of Adidas shoes in my entire collection. Once again, not really a collection, more of a rotation than anything else. Now, I kind of want to get into a little bit about my life that I don't really like to talk about too often, but I figure that it's really important for you guys who are watching this video to really understand, there is quite a big gap between myself at 15, 16 to me at say 20, 21, because at the age of 16, through completely my own faults, I became homeless on and off. So I spent some time living with my dad, and from that point I was pretty much homeless for a couple of years. Now, that's not the normal sense of the word. I wasn't like homeless on the street. That was for a very small period of time that I was actually on the streets physically. Thank you to some friends back then, I was able to get accommodated in a hostel. So from about the age of 17 to about 18, maybe 18 and a half, we were living in and out of hostels. I don't really want to get too much into that. I really don't want to get bogged down by that, and I really don't want you guys to feel sorry for me in that respect. It was definitely something I needed for me as a person, helped me build my character a lot, and helped me become the person that I am today, and become really determined to improve my own situation. So kind of just moving on from that, when I did turn 18 years old, I had my first son, Riley, who was absolute pride of my life. So such an incredible feeling having a child, and that definitely made me grow up. And then a couple of years later, I had my now youngest son, Jackson. Once again, absolute apple of my eye. Love both of my kids unconditionally. So from, say, as I mentioned, 16 to 18, I was homeless. I really couldn't afford to buy shoes. And then from 18 to, say, 21, I was a young dad. I was just getting my life sorted out, getting my first home, getting my first job, supporting my family. So shoes definitely weren't something on my radar. So it was definitely something that I was more looking at peripherally. I was always aware of sneaker YouTubers, and I really enjoyed content from Tom Stefanik, Bullet RC, Tony D Too Wild. All those kind of guys were massive on me, but I was not really in a position to afford to buy shoes. Now, as I mentioned, I was about 22 or 23 when I was finally in a financial position to be able to support my family, support myself, and be in a position to actually buy shoes quite regularly. Now, once again, collection, more of a rotation, but it started out with just one pair every couple of months. So we got the Yeezy Creams were a real big shoe that I was so gassed to get. It was my first pair of Yeezys. The Yeezy hype was definitely real back then. Not as hype as it was in the very, very early days, but it was still very hype in comparison to, how it is now, where shoes are pretty much readily available and only going for slightly above retail. Back then, shoes were going for a lot more over retail. So I was really excited to get them as like the shoe for that summer. So that was a real big shoe for me, but I've really only been collecting for about 12 months. I don't collect in the traditional sense where, I collect and hoard all the shoes. What I like to do personally is to buy a lot of shoes, as you can see behind me, but I like to wear them, experience them, and then move them on, whether it's resell them, toss them to one side, so to speak. I don't really like to have too much material items in my personal life. I like to kind of experience life and then move on and just try different things, try different shoes, and don't really get bogged down by the materialistic side of it. So that's one of my big things about collecting. It's not collecting in the traditional sense, but I really like how I'm doing it personally. people who watch this video might completely disagree and have hundreds of shoes, but everybody has the right to collect in their own way. Now, the reason why I started this YouTube channel is we went into lockdown in April and I found myself with not a lot to do to actually monopolize my time. I'm definitely the kind of person that doesn't like to sit around and do nothing. Don't get me wrong. There are times when I'm more than happy to completely procrastinate and waste my time. But generally, I do actually like to be active and working towards some type of goal. I feel that that's definitely who I am as a person. So when I was placed on furlough leave, I really found it difficult. The first few weeks were amazing, I'm not going to lie. Not being able to actually wake up at the same time every morning, not having that stress of work, just general stress, and being able to focus on family life. But quickly, 4 people living in a very small house together, we start to, almost live on top of one another. So in May, me and my partner decided to start this YouTube channel together. And we never really anticipated that it would grow as quickly as it has done. I'm really mesmerized by how far we've come in such a short period of time, not only from the subscriber point of view, but from how we've changed personally throughout this whole transition, how the production has gone. Of course, we are wanting to take it to bigger and better levels all the time, but considering like the production value of the first video to this video, you can definitely see there is an improvement overall. And that's the main focal point behind wanting to start the channel, is giving us something to work towards. And sneaker YouTube has always been something I've always been a big fan of. I personally have really enjoyed doing this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching. I'm hoping that you guys know me now on a much more personal level than I probably would have thought you ever would have. I really can't wait to see Detail Don do his video next. He's out there in Miami. We're rocking the cap just for you, dude. So I really want to know more about who you are, more how you got to this point. So I'm hoping you can do the video in a much quicker turnaround than I did. Really sorry, Teasy, that it did take this long to bring this video. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below, and I really do appreciate everyone who stuck around to the end of the video. Please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, hitting that bell notification, and I hope to see you again in the next one.